Okay, so today with us is Natan Levy. Welcome to Face to Face, first of all. How are
Thank you
you?
very much.
What did you do today?
Oh, just I'm back home in Israel, so I'm hanging out with family. Had some good hummus, some good food, and that's it.
Okay, so let's start from beginning. Your martial sports background is rich. You have a karate and kung fu black belt. You trained karate, taekwondo, boxing, of course, MMA. So let us know, how did you first met martial sports? Who introduced you to?
From a young age, I loved watching martial art movies. So, like everybody, Bruce Lee, stuff like that, but also Rocky and sport movies. So I wanted to be a boxer as a kid, and I didn't learn boxing, so that didn't happen. But when I was 15, I started training in Kung Fu and Karate, and from there, I dove deep into more traditional martial arts. Trained in Japan, got my black belt there, and a few years later, I decided I want to do MMA, and I left everything, flew to Vegas to pursue this dream.
Yeah, so what did your transition to martial sports look like?
It wasn't easy because, um, first of all, I was doing only stand up and mainly kicks. Punches were not my strong suit. And even the karate, the stance, everything, it wasn't exactly suitable for MMA. So I had a long road ahead of me. I really focused on jiu-jitsu, on the wrestling, but first, submissions and not getting caught in them easily, because that at first, everybody could catch me in anything. And slowly, I started to learn boxing and how to use my kicks in an MMA fight. So it really wasn't easy. I, a lot of people ask me all the time, like if I regret doing karate. Um, Maybe I regret that I didn't start jujitsu earlier, and I regret learning karate because never mind the moves, it's a part of me, and it's a big, like just training in Japan and doing everything in the karate way turned me into the man I am today. And also, there are also some sick moves that I use to this day in the cage.
Yeah, so let's say spinning back kick is your good choice. Am I right?
Yeah, I like this one.
Did you learn that from karate?
Yes.
Okay, so are you still practicing some some other martial sports?
Yes, I still practice karate. I do it when I'm in Israel. I do
Mm-hmm.
Kyokushin style, and when I'm in Tokyo in Japan. And also I do some point fighting style in Las Vegas. I also do Taekwondo in Las Vegas. And of course, the main styles of MMA like Jiu-Jitsu, Thai boxing, um, regular boxing, um, wrestling, stuff like that.
Yeah. So which martial sport is more specific than other? What is the hardest for you?
The hardest, I think, boxing is the one that comes the least naturally.
Yeah.
Nothing came easy for me. Kicking was not easy. I'm not naturally flexible at all. Grappling was not easy. I started at age 22. I didn't know what's an armbar, what is guard, and I was sparring with pro MMA fighters without knowing all that stuff. So it wasn't easy. But I think boxing, after I've been training for 8 years, is still the one where I feel I'm getting better always, but I feel like it's the one who's getting better the slowest.
So how would you describe yourself as a person?
As a person,
Yeah.
um, just a normal dude. Um, I'm very focused in what I do. I'm very passionate about it, and that's it.
When you realized that you will do your first fight in the UFC, what went through through your mind?
I got the call on 2 days' notice to fight on Dana White Contender Series. So I didn't have too much time to think about it and process. It was just, okay, time to cut weight. Okay, time to go. And so I didn't even have time. I felt the nerves, but once you get in the cage, there's no more nerves. You just got to fight. And again, it's all instinct. I didn't have time to
Definitely.
prepare. I didn't have time to think about the opponent too much. I would just get in the cage and fight. Once the fight was over, I knew it was the contract was mine. I knew I was going to get an opportunity because I got the finish on 2 days' notice against a guy that was 6-0, submission specialist, and I submitted him. So I knew I had to get the contract.
So did you have your role model from martial sports as a kid, and who is your inspiration today?
I had some, I don't know if role models, I had some people who inspired me to start. Like I was doing karate and I was doing that only, no other martial arts. And I wanted to do MMA, but I thought I'm a karate guy. That's what I do, and I watch MMA on TV, and it's not the same. But then I saw Lyoto Machida become champion from karate background, so for me it meant maybe I can do the same thing. And other fighters like George St. Pierre was a great inspiration. But I don't think I have like role models. I'm not trying to be like anybody. I always try to be me, and of course I try and learn from everyone. And if I can take inspiration or motivation from anyone, that's great. But for me, it's just me, my discipline, my work ethic, and just do my thing.
So do you think that karate is a great start, or let's say great base for developing your capacity or everything in martial sports?
I think it depends a lot on the teacher, because every teacher is a style, and you can have a great MMA coach and you can have a terrible MMA coach, and you can have a great karate sensei and a terrible one with good technique or bad technique. So I think it's easier to maybe get access to and fall under a bad teacher, because in an MMA gym, if the gym is successful, are there any pro fighters? Are they successful? If the coach has a few champions, then you know that it's probably good. But in karate, it's harder to know because usually a lot of gyms don't compete, or they tell you it's too dangerous to compete because they could kill somebody with a strike. So some people fall to that. I think if you have a good teacher and you do proper technique and you compete, then it can be a good background.
With score 7-1, you already setting a high standards for everyone. And with whom would you like to do next match? Is it known when the next match will be?
I don't care who it is. I want to fight in Paris in September.
Yeah, so that will be soon.
Yes.
Okay, so Charles Oliveira lost his belt but wins the match. Is there any guy who can beat Oliveira at this moment?
At this moment, I don't think so.
But in the future?
Yeah, in the future, of course, everybody can lose. Just right now, it's Charles' time. He is the man. He is the champion, with or without the belt. I think, maybe a great fight would be him against Islam Makhachev. I don't think anybody wants to see him fight Poirier again, or Gaethje again, or Chandler again. So I think Islam is the fight to make, and then maybe after that, make Michael Chandler against Dariush for the #1 contender.
So, who is the best UFC fighter that ever showed up in the UFC? I want to hear your opinion.
George St. Pierre.
Okay, can you describe us a little bit? Why?
Just perfect athlete, fast, strong, great conditioning, great fight IQ, great technique, great strategy. Just the perfect fighter. Maybe he doesn't finish the fights, but you don't win by finishing the fights. You win by winning, and he always won.
You are only one time defeated by Rafa Garcia, but what did you personally learn from that fight?
I learned a lot from this fight. I learned a lot from this loss. I learned also a lot from my wins. I prefer to learn from the wins. You know, biggest thing was that I was too eager to hurt him. I was trying to kill him, and I spent a lot of energy. My strategy was not great because I was trying to hurt him too much, and I think I showed in this last fight more patience. Of course, I want to finish the fight, and if I see somebody is hurt, I'm going to try and finish him. But I was cautious not to go too crazy if I see my opponent hurt and lose my energy. And yeah, I think every mistake I made in the last fight, I fixed for this fight, and that's why I won.
So, what do you think? Who is the best female striker, and what do you think about Rose and Esperanza fight?
I think Shevchenko is the best female fighter and striker, and I think the fight between Rose. I think Rose is amazing. She had a terrible fight. It happens. I think it's okay for the fans to be upset. They have the right, you know, they pay money. They are the spectators. Without them, we don't have a career. But also, you know, sometimes it happens that you have a bad fight. This one was really bad, but this also needs to happen sometimes. So it's okay. It is what it is.
Yes. And what about you? What do you think? What was your, let's say, the best performance in the UFC you had? Or your favorite one?
I think this past one, I think my fight before that I lost even, still I think it was a good performance, and I showed a lot of good things and a lot of improvement in my striking, in my kicking, mixing the punches and the kicks, the boxing. I outstruck the opponent 2-1, but I think this fight was better because I was even more dominant. And in the third round, when I got into trouble, I showed my heart and my will to win, and got the win.
Last night, Rakic and Blachowicz had an interesting fight, but unfortunately, Rakic got injured. Did you watch that fight? What do you think about it?
I only watched the injury because right now it's opposite time, so I didn't want to stay awake all night. You know, about the injury, it's terrible, but it happens. I'm not sure what made it happen because I didn't watch the fight.
Yeah. So, who your coach are, and who makes up your team?
I got a big team, but you know, everybody makes the dream work. So I have Jimmy Giff, who's my striking coach. He's my first coach in Las Vegas that took care of me, took me under his wing. You know, he's more of a striking coach, but he took care of you know, he made the strategy for my career and what we're gonna do, and basically he had the plan all along. John Wood, the head coach of Syndicate MMA, is my MMA coach. I train with him every day. In team practice and of course private sessions for strategy for the fight as well. I have my jiu-jitsu coaches, Shapiro brothers, um, Thai coaches, Crew New, teaches me Muay Thai, and my karate teachers. I got a lot of people, but mainly in Vegas, those are the people.
If you are a matchmaker, whose fight you would love to see?
I would like to see Islam Makhachev fight for the belt against Charles Oliveira. And if I was a matchmaker and also all powerful, I would make Khabib come back from retirement to fight Charles.
Great choice. How many trainings do you have per day?
I do three sessions a day. I used to do more, but I feel like your body breaks down, and especially now I'm 30 years old. I think quality is more important than quantity. So 2 to 3 times a day, I think is good enough. At first, when I started MMA, I needed to do 3 jiu-jitsu sessions a day on top of anything else I do. So I would train 5, 6 times a day. But now I feel like, again, it's more about the quality and putting good intensity and then getting good recovery for the next one, making every session count.
So what a life lesson martial sports have taught you?
For me, it's always like karate training in Japan, the journey from there to Las Vegas, teaching those martial arts. I think the biggest thing is always to stay humble, because the moment, every time you walk into a room and you think you're badass or the baddest one, in MMA, you walk into a room and you don't know who you're gonna spar with, who you're gonna roll with. There's always somebody on the mat that could kill you. So you gotta be careful. Always keep your hands up. Always be humble. Be self-aware, and just always work hard. Because same thing, you want to be the hardest worker in the room. That's what's gonna make you the best guy in the room.
Where do you see yourself in next 5 years, let's say? And do you think you will be next champion from Israel? And first champion from Israel?
Yeah, I want to be the first champion from Israel. This is my real dream. I always said, being in the UFC, it's not my dream, because I know it's going to happen. Being the first champion from Israel, that would be incredible. And that's what I'm working hard for.
Did you ever imagine that you will be in the UFC as a kid?
I knew it.
You knew it?
As a kid, I don't know. I remember when I just got like 13-year-old, something like that, I would look online, UFC.com, and look where can I apply to fight in the UFC, and I couldn't find it. And later on, I understand that you got to fight first in smaller promotions and then work your way there. But again, I wanted to do MMA, but there was no way to do it in Israel. So I started doing Kung Fu and Karate.
Okay, so thank you for this conversation. I hope you enjoy it, and we are looking forward to look your match in France, in Paris.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you to everybody that watched. Merci beaucoup. Toda לכולם.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.